My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin-Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own.
Myron! Myron!
What?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Man, nobody read no nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Well, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday too. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry. Biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I know I look at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, it ain't nothing nasty about this. So what you talking about? I got all the books right here. What you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I went to I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reender, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the books. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron. Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you none. I got these books off Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no?
Yeah, well, bye. Bye.
I've been in this game. Yeah. Your animals to the shit. Animal, baby. The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Peace to the fam. Listen, I don't know what more I could say about that last video. I don't know what more I can say about that last video. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Have I ever thought about writing a book on astronomy? That's funny. We have a workbook. We have a workbook, and it'll be out. It'll be out sometime, probably before February or the beginning of February. We have a workbook because it is a part of the comedic naturopathy. It's a part of the course. It's a part of the course. So, I don't know if you have your book. But there's a couple of spots. So if you open up your book to why doesn't it share on that? That's interesting. Interesting. But yeah, so if you open up your textbook, the comedic naturopathy book, right? The Legend of Wu Sid. So let me say this. We got 3 books. I don't have my textbook yet. I'm waiting for it to come. Right? But you got the trigonometry book, you got the rough Ashlaw book, and then you got the textbook. Right? Those are the 3 books that are the primary books of the comedic naturopathy course. Right? The workbooks are kind of like answer sheets, cheat sheets, cheat sheets. Answer sheet, cheat sheet, study guides, right? Answer sheet, cheat sheet, study guide. They blow up section. So remember this, because y'all might have forgot. And of course, I don't have the books in here, right? But remember the GOAT book and the Horus and Set transaction book. The reason those are 2 books is because I wrote one really, really, really big book and then found out my limitations on Amazon the hard way, right? When I wrote those books, I didn't know that there was a limit. Like I was feeling myself at that point. I was feeling myself at that point. So I was just going to town, you know what I'm saying? And Amazon kept rejecting the book until I, did some homework. Oh, wait, here's the limit. There was some other reasons why they was rejecting the book also, but I cleared up that stuff. And then they were still rejecting the book. And I was like, and it was because the book was like 1,300 pages. So I had to chop the book in half. And when I chopped the book in half, it's still 2 really good books. But had I knew before, I would have, broke them down totally differently. So with that knowledge now, 2025, right? We got 3 big books, or 3 main books anyway. And then we have the workbooks, which I think makes it an easier way to get deeper into the info, because each workbook is almost like having a microscope on a particular part of information. So to go back to your question about the astronomy, right? We have a workbook coming out on it because, right, there's a large portion of comedic science that you can't really get around. You can't really get around unless you deal with that, right? So most people, when they talk about the Ebers Papyrus, they talk about the Ebers Papyrus and they forget that there's a calendar on it, right? They forget there's a calendar on it. So yeah, there's definitely a right. So you see here, we kind of get into that. All of the Kemetic medical papyri have math in them. The Cahun gynecological papyrus has 6 math problems so far. The whole papyrus has yet to be translated. Why aren't the Kemetic scholars translating these documents? I don't have the time to do their job and mine. The Ebers Papyrus has a calendar on it, calculating the sun, moon, and stars. Again, this is all science that comes from the human body. Of course, the pyramid produces electricity because you do. Again, all this is science that comes from the human body. So we definitely are going to quick question. Does our come from a development of the Anglo-Norman or and Middle English Ur, first attested in the 13th century? Or does it come from the land of Ur, Kemet, and Horus, horizon? The ancient Egyptians began dividing the night into when wet at some time before the compilation of the 5th dynasty pyramid text in the 24th century in the 24th century BC. Diagrams of stars inside the Egyptian coffin lids, variously known as diagonal calendars or star clocks, attest that there were 12 of these, right? So it's definitely something that we're going to blow up. Right? It's definitely something that we're going to blow up. It's just I'm not sure if, right, we get into the circadian, right? Because we can't really talk circadian rhythm unless we get into a conversation about the stars, right? So we're definitely gonna, it's in the textbook already. So everything that's in the book, we're gonna go through, and then obviously some of the things that are more important or more complicated, we're going to blow up and we'll have workbooks to make, because what the workbook does is, along with making it easier for you, the workbook makes it easier for me. So I didn't have to necessarily try to squeeze all of the research I had on every single thing into one book, where I could basically give the basic points, the outline, or just what was relative to the context of the conversation. And then we can come back in the workbook and expound on it. You know what I'm saying? We can come back and expound on it. So like last video, we was talking about the anatomy of the mind, right? The anatomy of the mind. And we kind of, we wound up spending 90% of our time talking about the microscope, right? And I got some people ask me after, what happened to the anatomy of the mind? Like we touched on it at the end. We kind of circled back around to it at the end of the video. So we did kind of talk about it a little bit, right? But y'all know how it be, man. Sometimes it be hard. Sometimes it be hard because I come in and in my mind, I want to talk about something, and then somebody will say something, or I'll get, go off on the tangent or whatever the case may be, and then get caught up in whatever it is. And, we'll be on a different, we'll be somewhere else. Right. But, so I wanted to come back to that anatomy of the mind thing and just hit some other points and just some quick reminders as well, right? So a couple of books. Black Lines Matter, right? Black Lines Matter. Photochemistry Squared, the photochemistry book, right? And the electrochemistry book. I don't know if it's better just be far back. When I put it close to the camera, it's like the camera makes it blurry. Yeah, because the camera's focused way back here. I'm making this, but this is the electrochemistry book. I don't want y'all to get so lost in the new material that y'all forget that we're building, right? So we have a whole electrician manual, and we have the anatomy in the back of these books. Our own whole anatomy from scratch. Like, I don't want y'all to overlook that. That's a monumentous achievement that we have redesigned the whole anatomy. So everybody else is playing catch up. Everybody else is playing catch up. We somewhere else everybody else is playing catch up. I'm not even thinking about like contemporaries in the space. I'm talking about PhDs, MIT, Stanford. I'm talking about Harvard, Stanford, MIT. Right now, they're playing catch up. Because I know what they're doing. Right now, the DOD, the Department of Defense, is put $100 million. I'm like, yo, can I get a sandwich? Can I get a sandwich? Can I get can I get a few dollars? The DOD put $100 million into this information. And I'm looking at what they trying to, I'm like, yo, we've way past, what are they? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But yeah, the DOD, they put like $100 million into trying to study bioelectricity. And so what you're going to see over the next few years is a whole bunch of people, like the bioelectricity space is getting ready to get flooded. It's getting ready to get flooded. But everybody here should be at the GOAT level. I promise you, if you got even half of the books, that we've been putting out, let me not say got, let me not say half. If you have read at least half of the books, let's switch that up. If you have read at least half of these books, I'm telling you, you're getting ready to look like such a genius. But that's how investments go. That's how investments go. When you start making an investment, if everybody's on it, your investment is watered down. Usually the best investments are the ones people are like, no, what are you doing? That's crazy. And then later people start figuring it out, and then you look crazy, like, oh wait, that's what you was telling me to get. I didn't even know. That's what oh, okay. Okay, I understand. Oh, it's too late. You're way behind. Because by the time people read their first book on bioelectricity, we're going to be 100 books deep. We're going to be 100 books in. And not 100 books. Technically, right now, we're like 130 books in. But we only like 80 books in on Amazon. By the time people get around to their first book, we're going to be like 100 and some books on Amazon strong. Like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But that's, the DOD just put like $100 million into this information. So, origin is going to also be more, it's going to be something that's going to be more important. Knowing the root, right? Because like the rest of this stuff, so initially everything goes back to Greece. You know, it has a Greco-Roman origin, right? Post-Renaissance, everything has a German origin, right? Everything has a German origin. So it's important for us to document our story, you know, to tell our story. It's important for us to tell our story. Buy your first book today? Wow. You know what I would say? What's a good first book? I would say go to the beginning. I would say get Melanin vs. Diabetes, book number 1. Melanin vs. Diabetes, book 1. That's the best book to get for your first book. Let me see. Do I have that right up here somewhere? Nope. That book is never handy when I need it either. Because I'm always using it. So I would say get that book. And that book is probably like 10 or 15 bucks. Yeah, I would say grab that. Yeah, you know what you could do? You could get a couple of books. Yeah. I would say get the Melanin vs. Diabetes book 1. And then I would say get these 2 books. Melanin vs. Diabetes book 1. And I would say get this photochemistry book. That'll start you off right. That'll start you off right. Or I don't know. See, I don't know what your passion is. Right? Because I would say get the Melanin vs. Diabetes book 1 and get the photochemistry book if you want to get into the science aspect, right? But if you want to lean more to the functional aspect, I would just say your first book should probably be the kitchen chemistry book, right? Get the kitchen chemistry book so that way you could take that book with you back and forth to the supermarket. You know, it's a lot of good information in that book. It's a fun book. You got the smoothie recipes in that book. So if it's lifestyle and living and you want to be able to be like hands-on with it, I would probably say kitchen chemistry book. But if you want to geek out, and you want to get into that bioelectricity and you want to get into the science, I would say get the Melanin vs. Diabetes book and get this book together. Both of these books together, you should still probably be like right at or just under $30. Yeah. Because you get this, you ready to geek out. If you get this with you ready to geek out. Okay. Yeah, and then see, because that's gonna get you. You're gonna be, and then you're gonna want to jump into So get them, and then you'll start moving around in the book collection. You'll start moving around in the book collection. You'll be all over the place. Okay, Suburban girl, you ready to Suburban girl? Let me let me tell you something. You know what just jumped in my mind? Look at this collection she got. She got the gold book. She got the goat book. She got the naturopathy book, and she got divine mathematics. So you know who she remind me of with this collection right here? And this is a small collection. There's a small collection right here. This 4 books. With these 4 books, she reminds me of the girl who got shot. Respectfully. No, I'm not trying to mark you. But she reminds me of the girl that got shot on Men in Black. Remember that? When they had captured, like they had tricked Will to coming in to taking the test to be on Men in Black. And they had all these soldier guys, like the best Marines guy, the best Army guy, the best Navy guy, and all this and all that. And they put them in the room with the laser guns, and they had them do the test, and they all had to figure out like who to shoot. And it was monsters and aliens. And then it was a little girl with those. It was like a little nice, sweet girl. And she had them big, crazy books. Yeah, that's you that girl. I would say the next thing for you to probably jump into is the Constitution book. Yeah, I would say jump into the Constitution and the kitchen chemistry books. Yeah. The Constitution, the kitchen chemistry, maybe even the Declaration. No. Constitution, kitchen chemistry, and maybe even the photochemistry book, because that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I would definitely say the Constitution and the kitchen chemistry books. And maybe even the photochemistry book. It's low key like one of my favorites. Low key, low key, low key, low key. All right. Shout out to my guy DA. DA pulled up on me at the crib in the snow, in the Michigan blizzard. My man DA pulled up. I love DA for that. Okay, so here's where we're gonna go. So this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about the origin of bioelectricity a little bit. And I also want to like fill in some blanks with the anatomy of the mind conversation, because I know we went in a little bit with the Ram and the Eye of Heru, right? We went in a little bit, and we went into the 12 and the 60. I'm not sure if we went into the 12 and the 60. Yeah, I'm not sure if we went into the 3, 4, 5. I be forgetting. Listen, my mind is always, I'm in the future, right? So, good opportunity. Hit the Cash App. Put some books in your Amazon cart. Go to the website, AmericanHealer.website. Hit the Cash App. What else? Hit the Cash App. Join the Patreon, right? Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you have this, listen, this is a real thing. This is a real thing. Even Chase plugged me in. He was like, Dad, most of the people that's watching your YouTube page, they probably haven't subscribed to your channel, right? And I was like, who would be like, I don't have that much. I was like, I don't have that much people watching my YouTube page to have a bunch of people that's watching that haven't subscribed to the channel. He said, Dad, look at the YouTube pages you're watching. How many of those pages have you subscribed to? I was like, grand opening, grand closing. You got me. You got me. I do watch, but at that moment, I went and subscribed to most of the joints that I watch that I have not subscribed to, because I do find myself watching videos from channels that I haven't subscribed. I guess it's just a habit of, I don't know what that is, right? So please don't do me like that, even though I might have did you like that. Please. Still a new year, still January, right? I'm working on me. While I'm working on me, helping you, trying to anyway, work on yourself, right? So as I'm figuring out, hey, you know what? Let me at least hit the subscribe button. Let me at least hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? I can at least hit the subscribe button. Bottom line, I can hit the subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I can like the video. And even if you don't like the video, just fake it. Just hit the like button anyway. Right? Hey, just fake it. All right, hold on. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you. Let me find something I can pull up. All right, let me show you. This one right here. Boop. You could tell that I didn't know what I was doing. You could tell I didn't know what I was doing because that's book number 1. But for some reason, I did it wrong. Not for some reason, I did it wrong. And so it says it's book number 2. So if you look at it, it says it's book number 2 right here. It says book 2 of 8. But you look on the cover of the book, it says book 1. So this is the one right here. Yeah, that's the one right there. Yep, book 6 out of print. It's a few joints that's out of print. It's a few joints that's out of print. Yeah. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like the video, just fake it. Just fake it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Because listen, between the children and the research and all that, I don't really have time to spend an hour or 2 watching something that I don't like. Right? So I have to assume if you hanging out with us watching, if you don't like it, I may not have the proper adjective to describe what it is that's holding you. But let's just pretend like, let's just click like. You only got 2 choices, like and dislike. And I'm going to assume dislike would mean you're not watching. Yeah, so I'm going to assume dislike means you're not watching. So if you are watching, maybe you'd like to use another adjective to describe it, but we only have those 2 options. So let's just go ahead and round it off to the nearest denominator and hit the like button. Yeah, let's just hit the like button. Yeah, let's just hit the like button. Right? Let's just hit the like button. All right, so we talked about remembering, right? And this is the reason why the books are loaded with so many articles, right? Because we say a lot of crazy and outlandish stuff, at least as far as John Q. Public is concerned. So we have to have the articles there to reference the material. You know, my first 10 years on the internet, that was a conversation. Like, yeah, but where's the references? Where's the references? And I was like, honestly, I was arguing with folks. I was like, yo, all of the stuff I'm talking about comes from the Bible, the pyramid text, the hieroglyphs, the Quran. I'm not, you know, this is where I'm getting my information from, the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? From God's mouth to our ear type, you know, like that's where I'm at with it. So your traditional references, I don't have those for you. We just going back to with the ancients. That's what it always been for me. Right? So after a while, I got beat into submission. I was like, okay, cool. And honestly, it was probably Tony who really was like, Dad, but it makes the information more impactful. Right? It makes it more impactful. Now the comment I get is there's too many articles. It's too hard to read. I'm like, I can't win for losing. If I don't put the articles. And when I first started, I would do like the regular traditional, just name the article, be like, yeah, go read that. But nobody did that because some of the articles cost money. So when I put, hey, go read this article, you're like, I'm not going to read that article. I already didn't pay $15, $25 for this book. You want me to go? I said, hey, my people, God, you know, my work cut out for me. But so that's that's how we do that. We combine the research, with articles to just to provide that impact, that scientific reference. Like, think about what we did last video. Last video, had I just showed you that hieroglyph and talked you to death about it being a blueprint for a microscope, some of y'all that have been following me for a longer period of time and build up the rapport, you might have been like, okay, I see where you're going with it. But it wouldn't have hit the same like when I show you what the schematic looks like for a microscope, and then you go back and forth, you go, ooh, yeah, that's grand opening, grand closing, right? So that's the kind of the same effect with. So let's get into this anatomy of the mind a bit more, because we got 2 workbooks. Ooh, this is trash. Sorry if that hurt y'all ears. Okay, this is live. We got 2 workbooks on it, and I'm not sure if people are getting the message, B, if people understand the importance. Because I know some people are just like, well, I just got this infection and I'm just trying to figure out what herb I should take. And I'm like, yeah, that what we're doing is a lot bigger than that, right? So the importance of the mind conversation has everything to do with the bioelectricity thing, right? Everything to do with the bioelectricity, and everything to do with our mantra, right? Or at least one of our mantras. We got a bunch of them, right? But we got this one is on his last leg too. Well, it's okay. Looks like we can still get some life out of this one, right? Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. Where is that other? Okay, this might do it. So what happened is, okay, yeah, this one seemed dead too. What happened is my little ones got busted in here, stealing my markers, borrowing them, and then used them up. Let some of them took the good ones, left the dry ones, and then put it back in the package. They violated me. Dad, we had a project. All right, so this look live. All right, this look live. Okay. Right. This look live. Right. So this is important. Plasma, electric, magnetic, light. Right. Now the whole mantra is plasma holds, plasma carries electric fields. Electric fields generate magnetic fields. Alternating electric and magnetic fields create light, right? This is important because this is basically the whole blueprint to how your body works. This is the blueprint to how your body works, right? This is the blueprint to how your body works. And this was the thing that drove, this is why I'm in front of you today. This right here, literally, starting with this guy right here, plasma, right? When I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade, we was taught that 99% of the universe was plasma, 1% of the universe was matter, and all the laws of physics are based on matter. And so, yeah, I was disrupting the class trying to figure out why we wasn't studying the 99% of the universe. Like, it just, I was like, what are we doing? Are we wasting our time? Like, what? Anyway, so one of the other things that I want y'all to get is the reason why I'm saying we're light years ahead is because this is just becoming a conversation, right? Even after Robert Becker, Dr. Sebi, who I consider to be modern pioneers, right? Robert Becker, Dr. Sebi, and the whole body is electric thing. You know, I already went down here with it. I already said the body's not electric. The body is luminous. The body runs on light, right? So it's like grades. It's like grades that we're going through with the information. So this was elementary school. This was elementary school right here. Plasma. Right? Now, mind you, it's not to say that one of these things is not important. Because you take any one of these off of the table and life doesn't exist. You take any one of these off the table and life doesn't exist. Right? Plasma may probably be the most important of all of them, because if not for plasma, living waters, right? There's no structured water even without plasma, right? Plasma is the base, right? But this is what modern science had learned and developed pretty much all of medicine based on this. Plasma, right? That was it. That's why in the man, I'm gonna need somebody to go get me some books. I don't have none of my books up in here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a book run. I might have to make a book run. I gotta go make a book run. I gotta make a book run. I can't keep talking about books that I don't have in here. This is crazy.
Myron!
Ooh,
Myron!
what?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody read no nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday 2 weeks. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and bioelectricity. Bioelectricity.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, it ain't nothing nasty about this. So what are you talking about? I got all the books right here. What are you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on phonics. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reinder, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on phonics.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
man.
you
always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the book. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron.
Amazon. You
Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you none. I got these books on Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no?
Yeah, well, bye. Bye.
I've been in this game for years. You animals to the shit.
Okay. All right. So I had to go and grab me a little something. All right. Thank you. I had to go grab me a little something. I had a full shelf there, but for whatever reason, nothing that I'm talking about happens to be in that shelf. Right? So here we go. One of the most important books and most slept on books, the body language book, right? This is why in the body language book, we have a little tiny important little section. You know, just a little good little section. It's like a reference book. It's just like a big reference book. But we talk about IVs. IVs. The IV is crucial. The IV is crucial. Why? What are they doing with the IV? What are they doing with the IV? The whole purpose of the IV, like 90% of the people that come into hospital need an IV. And the reason is they need to eliminate that as a problem. They need to eliminate this as a problem. They need to get your electricity going. They need to make sure you got some electricity flowing, right? So, although this is grade school, this is like the first level to understanding energy in the body on a real level, right? Not no Kundalini chakra foolishness. I don't want you to think that I don't want to undermine its importance, right? Because people like to have the conversation about structured water, cellular water, stuff like that. And they forget, before you get to structured water in the cell, you get to the base. This is the base for everything in the body. Every single organ, gland, right? Heart, brain, whatever, has to have its own personalized form of plasma. Its own personalized form of water. Its own personalized fountain of youth, right? And that basically is what ratio of ions are there. Now, the basics is going to be there, right? You're going to have the negative charge of the cell, which nobody really knows what that is. Nobody really knows that part, except for you. Y'all know the EnQi cycle, even though people still like, yo, how does dude got an EnQi cycle? Listen, that's how science goes. If you discover something, you get to name it after yourself. Yeah. So I wanted to know how was that going on? Right? People just take things for granted. I don't take stuff for granted. So for me, I'm like, okay, hold on. The cells, all the cells, They just jumpstart you into stuff, right? So you have all these guys. What's this guy's name? His name started with a T or something. But he got famous like 10 years ago for talking about bioelectricity and whatever. And he had was one of the early people to name the voltages for the cells, or at least popularize them anyway, right? And negative 70 millivolts is like for your skin, your nerves, stuff like that. And so people just was excited to know that and was like, yeah, so your cells is woo-woo. And then from there, they jumped right to ions and your membrane. Well, actually, they kind of violated the membrane too. They just left the membrane nobody really discussed the importance of the membrane because people haven't got the importance of phosphorus yet. Even though phosphorus is the star of the ATP and GTP, is still no, right? But so yeah, the ions are positive though. The ions are positive. So you gotta think about that. Like that didn't make no sense to me. Like your electrolytes is pretty much the ions that generate electricity. But the electrolytes is all positively charged. Sodium, calcium, like potassium, all of them is positively charged except for chloride. And chloride, you never hear nobody telling you need to load up on chloride. Like you don't have no healers coming on the internet like, yo, so yeah, so basically, chloride, load up on chloride, and we got this magical plant from Africa that's gonna load you up on chloride and blah blah blah. Right? And when you look at the ratios in the body, chloride is not that big of you don't have that much chloride for that to be the source of the resting electrical potential in the cell, right? The resting potential in the cell comes from the EnQi cycle. It literally comes from water being self-inductive and being able to create electron pools, right? Pools of electrons, and have its own resting potential, its own negative resting potential, right? And so water in and of itself creates the negative, and then you're going to supply the positive with your diet, your calcium, your potassium, etc. Your phosphorus is going to be the tripwire. That's the tripwire. It makes stuff blow up, right? But yeah, so that's a level to it. Electricity, right? But with the anatomy of the mind, I wanted to focus in on the magnetic part, right? But you can't really focus in on the magnetic part without the electric part, right? And this right here always got me into beef, especially with the Sebi folks. Not really with the Sebi folks, because they happy as long as you're saying good stuff about Sebi, but really more so my Haitian folks. They was really on me, calling me out, because I said the god Ogun came to us through Dr. Sebi. And they was like, oh, wait a minute, you don't know what you're talking about. See, that's what I'm saying. It's fake information. They're like, Ogun is not the god of herbs. That's Ogun is not the god of herbs. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, who said? I didn't say he was. Like, what? First of all, Dr. Sebi started off with the Ogun Institute, the Ogun Research Institute. So that's number one. I'm honoring him with his research. He called his research institute the Ogun Institute, right? So that's number one. But number two, Ogun was the god of iron and magnetism. Iron and magnetism, right? And so because he spoke about iron being so important all the time, And he kind of really held that space. You know what I'm saying? He really held that space in a time period where nobody was really talking about that at all. Right? You got to give, you got to tip your hat. Right? You got to tip your hat. So magnetism in the body is important. And magnetism, for me, is low-hanging fruit in terms of understanding the mind. Right? In terms of understanding the mind, we know that electronics is built this way. Electronics are built around what? The piece with the magnetic. Right? Shout out to the fivers out there, right? Shout out to all of the sevens, right? The piece with the magnetic. Right? Electronics right? For the most part, this is how electronics work. So I don't understand where the separation comes in, really. So for me, it's low-hanging fruit, but I get we need to walk through the specifics so people get it deeper into their mind, right? Because in this new jump into bioelectricity, remember, I'm out here, right? I'm out here. I'm in these bioelectricity streets, right? And I'm looking, and so they got this new jack on the block. Right? It's a new jack on the block. They doing some good work. Remember, I told you the Department of Defense put $100 million up for these guys to play around with this stuff. So there's some new science papers coming out. They're going crazy. But because they just starting right where they at, they don't know what they're seeing, and the way they're articulating it is incorrect, and it's confusing for the people. Right? So there's some new research about electricity controlling the creation of body parts and all this and all that. And that's cool. That's dope. It's a vibe. It's a step in the right direction, but it's incorrect. It's incorrect. And this is why it's important for us to understand the mind, because the mind is not only bigger than the brain, but the mind is the mold for the body. The mind is the mold for the body. Like you pour cookies into a mold so you can bake little Santa Claus looking cookies or whatever the case. Like you put ices in a little icy tray so you can have certain type of shapes to the icy. The mind is the mold, because the mind has all of the information. The mind has all of the information, right? All of the information that's not stored in the DNA, right? It has to be somewhere, right? It's not in electricity. So that's where they're making a big mistake in the new bioelectricity movement. It's not in electricity. Electricity is generated. That would be asinine for us to assume that as soon as you have electricity flowing, all of a sudden there's information there that can build a person or build an animal. Like that doesn't even make any sense, right? That's not how that goes, right? This is why we have the Let There Be Music book, right? The Let There Be Music book That's why we have the Let There Be Music book, right? It's important for you to see with your eyes the divine spark, right? Light. Remember that the beauty of light is that light is a combination of electric and magnetic. So light can always be broken back down into electric and magnetic. That was the whole magnanimous discovery with the photoelectric effect, or at least part of it anyway, right? When light hits a conductor, electricity is being generated. Well, you know, if electricity is being generated, magnetism being generated. It just goes without saying. It just goes without saying, right? But the thing is, the magnetic field is what stores the information. The magnetic field is what stores the information. So this has something to do with not just like mental illness or mental health or anything like that, but this is the whole thing of healing. The whole aspect of healing is here, right? Because each one of your cells, so when you start off a cell, right? When you start off a cell, here's what you got to know, right? Here's the basics of a cell. Here's the basics of a cell. The basics of a cell is water, water, fat, phosphorus. That's the basics of a cell before you get deep. Before you get into, you know, nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi, this and that. Like before you get into any of that, you got the gel, the water on the inside, the cytoplasm, and you got your membrane, right? Now, when you have stem cells, right? Stem cells is basically your basic cells that's your body has in the stash. Yeah, in the stash, right? If y'all don't know, y'all people watching from all around the world, so you might not know what in the stash is. In the stash is like your savings. Yeah, that's like your savings account. So I'm not sure where everybody's from. In the neighborhood, we got it in the stash, you know. But so stem cells is your basic cells that haven't differentiated yet, right? Now, typically around the body, they're not called stem cells. So if you're looking for some information, you're not going to really find as much as you want. You got to know what you're looking for. Most times it's going to be called satellite cells, right? But satellite cells are pretty much stem cells, but they're kind of like earmarked for a specific, you know, space, right? So the liver will have stem cells to replace and help regenerate the liver, but they'll be labeled in most papers and books and stuff like that as satellite cells for the liver. Or, you know, bodybuilders talk about satellite cells for, you know, hypertrophy and building muscle and blah, 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 right? The thing with stem cells is this, though, right? So this is how cells differentiate. This is the magic sauce, right? And I think we talk about this in workbook number 2. Yeah. Go. Okay, so we got 4 workbooks that's out right now. Is it 4? No, it's 3. I might be working on number 4. Yeah, I think it's 3, right? Workbook number 1 is for the rough ash law, right? And we're going to get back to the rough ash law, and then workbook number 2 and 3 is the mind, right? And so that's really like it's a real geeky space. It's a real geeky space, right? But this right here is what determines. So the basic parts of a cell is what determines what the cell develops into. Remember, nature has got a lot to do. So everything has to be simple and duplicatable in nature, right? The motifs that nature uses to reproduce life. Even though life in and of itself, individual life, is not duplicatable, but the blueprint, right? So water and the membrane is what determines. Can y'all see down here? Okay. This resting potential. The resting potential. So most people are most familiar with this one. -70 millivolts, right? But that's not every cell in your body. That's not every cell in your body. That's only some cells. That's your nerve cells and your skin cells. Because again, remember the pigments and the neurons and anyway. But this is what's going to determine what the cell transforms into. Stem cells don't have this. Stem cells don't have stem cells. We can call them ma'at cells. We can call them ma'at cells. Yeah. Because the scales are just about even. They don't have a negative potential. They're about 0. They just about 0. Right? Just about 0. Stem cells. And as you go through the body, when they differentiate, the first thing they do before they build out, right? Before they build out with all of the machinery the cell needs, because a cell needs different machinery for different glands, organs, tissues, whatever. Before any of that machinery develops, the first step in a stem cell differentiating is resting potential, right? Whatever that's going to be, whether that's going to be, I think bones are probably -90, something like that. I think bones are -90. I think fat is somewhere like around -50 or something to that effect, right? But that's the first thing that has to happen, right? The resting potential has to be developed, right? Resting potential you could liken that to the frequency of the tissue. The frequency of the tissue. So this is how the stem cell is now going to start to gel with the rest of the tissues there. Right? Now this is how it's going to blend in. Right? It's going to set itself to the same radio station. Ooh. Now we all on the same frequency. Right? What happens with a cancer cell? A cancer cell changes. Right? So this is how a cancer cell pops out of the tissue. Cancer cell pops out of the tissue. Wherever it's from, the cancer cell pops out of the tissue. It immediately separates itself from the rest of the pack. Right? And we talk about ways that happens. Right? Because cancer cells on average have like 2 to 3 times the amount of insulin receptors as a regular cell in that same tissue, which means it's going to be consuming way more glucose, way more fat than the rest of the tissues. So it's going to have a much higher electrical output. The higher electrical output is what allows it to multiply and, go crazy, but also operate at a different frequency, because that all has to do with metabolism and respiration to maintain the resting potential, right? So anyway, hopefully we're making some sense. Hopefully we are making some sense. Now, let me go into one of these books here. Okay, let's go here. Okay, hold up. All right, so let's jump around a little bit. Okay, this is me talking my mess a little bit. Right? But this is a fact right here. Right? This is a fact right here. Right? In terms of cancer, not. So here's Darwin again. You're going to notice Darwin is the atheist Jesus, right? So the concept of, and some of this stuff, we got to work through some of the stuff. You might be like, wait, what does this got to do with come along and ride on a fantastic. Yeah, you're on the fantastic voyage, right? So Darwin pops up everywhere. The concept of cancer that has led nowhere. I mean, they done took trillions of dollars into research and it has led nowhere, right? The concept of cancer being mutation-based. All of that's Darwinian philosophy, right? Otto Warburg, You hear about Otto Warburg because Otto Warburg broke the mold and got a Nobel Peace Prize for basically saying Darwin wasn't a scientist. He didn't know what he was talking about. Y'all gotta relax. That my Nori voice, right? Y'all gotta relax. Yeah. DNA mutations is not the cause of cancer. Now, even though that information is still out there, it's easily debunked because, first of all, no cancer cells are the same. No two cancer cells are the same. That's one of the things that makes cancer research difficult. Every single cancer cell is unique, right? But the thing that debunks the mutation theory is that cancer cells, on average, have 50, 60, 70 different mutations before becoming cancerous. So if becoming a cancer cell was about genetic mutation, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or 10th genetic mutation a cell experiences will create a cancer cell. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't, right? So Otto Warburg came in, and Otto Warburg's theory was cell metabolism, right? Cell metabolism, and no, that book is in my bedroom. I'll be showing the Thomas Seyfried book just so people could get it and add it to their library if they want it. It's a difficult read. It's a tough book to read. I have books all under the tables. Books crazy up in here. It's Book City. Brick City is Book City. But Thomas Seyfried basically like updated what Otto Warburg was talking about and really fine-tuned it, for cellular metabolism or cellular respiration, which is basically cellular metabolism. That might be confusing for people. Why is it that cellular respiration, cellular metabolism, like breaking down glucose in the cell, like why is that called cellular respiration instead of metabolism? Right? That might be confusing for people. But the reason is because respiration and metabolism is tied together. And at the end of the day, respiration is more important. And your heme, which makes up your blood, is the same heme proteins that makes up the electron transport chain. So the pigments actually dictate the behavior, what's going on. So that's why it's cellular respiration. But really, it's one process, right? Your breath and your body's ability to break down food and turn it into energy comes together in your mitochondria. And that's where Otto Warburg's theory of cancer is at. And that's where Thomas Seyfried's theory is at. Now, I build on top of that. I'm go, okay, yeah, that's the initial problem. Right? Metabolism, respiration. But where the problem gets compound is the information that the cell is generating. The information that the cell is generating changes the information being stored in the magnetic field of the cell. And the information in the magnetic field of the cell is the mold of the cell. That is where the cell's behavior and the blueprint for all of the parts. Think about it like this. Not only is your cell being replaced every day, but all of the parts inside the cell is being replaced. Right? And you hear people talk about autophagy or sirtuins or histones or whatever. That's what they do, literally, is replace the cell parts. So if all the parts is being replaced, where's that information coming from? It's not coming from DNA. Hint, hint, wink, wink. DNA does not hold that information. DNA only holds the information for building the proteins. Right? That's it. Think of it like this. Think of it like this. A building, on a basic level, a building needs bricks and cement for the bricks, right? DNA holds the information on how to make bricks and how to make cement. That's it. DNA doesn't have the information on that would say, okay, well, we need, I don't know, 3,475 bricks to make the first floor. That information is not in the DNA. So like your retina, you got 16 different genes for 16 different proteins to build your retina. There's no DNA information that's going to say, okay, well, this is how many of each one of these proteins you need, and this is how you put them together. Stack them up like this, mix them together like that. That information is not in the DNA. This is why the Department of Defense, listen to what I'm telling y'all. I need y'all to hear me, but then I need y'all to feel me. I need the information to go into your body and resonate and go, wait a minute. He said the Department of Defense is putting $100 million into this information. Wakey, wakey. This is the secret. I told y'all, remember, when you're looking at all this conversation online, or matter of fact, I was on Hotep Jesus. I was on Hotep. Shout out to Hotep Jesus. Shout out to Hotepistan. Right? Hotep to the family. I was over there when I said it. And I said, the one thing I want everybody to pay attention to when you hear about all this AI, right? And the race for AI, because we've been in a race for AI for the last 10, 15 years, right? Remember the race to the moon. Remember the race to the moon. Now it's becoming now it's becoming public information that, well, we really kind of faked the 1969, like we really kind of faked that, John, and woo, woo, woo. This is a repeat. People who don't know their past are doomed to repeat it. If you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. So this is the same thing. What's happening underneath the race for AI is the inner journey. This is why Department of Defense is putting the bag into this. Because the country, the government, the military that figures this out first, they already got, listen, all you gotta do is read the articles. They out there already. They already got plans for the new drugs that's supposed to come out. That's why when you see AI, one of the things they talk about is revolutionizing medicine. Oh, we can revolutionize medicine with the new AI quantum computing technology. We'd be able to revolutionize medicine. What exactly does that mean? You see, they say revolutionize. You notice they say heal people, right? Listen. So they want to basically, diabetes is working so well. They want to expand that with AI. Right? So the same way they got the insulin and the metformin And so you could be on diabetes. And as long as you're taking the diabetes drugs, technically, you can live 20, 30, 40 years with diabetes as long as you take the drugs without having your foot cut off or anything like that, right? So that's the plan that they got for AIDS, which has already happened. Wake up. It has already happened now with the AIDS. Remember they said that if you said that you could heal AIDS, you was, pseudoscience, blah, 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 blah. Now they got the whole program. Take this pill. It's going to make you undetectable. And they got a new AIDS prophylactic. If you take the prophylactic for risky sex, then you unrisky, you like your chances of getting it is zero. Like, so now they want to expand that for cancer, autoimmune disease, brain disease, etc., where they don't prevent you from getting the disease. They don't reverse the disease once you get it, but you could technically live indefinitely as long as, you can live with your cancer. You could live with whatever. If you got a bad organ, instead of needing a transplant, you could live with, a 3D printed organ that'll basically be running off of Wi-Fi. Yeah, and you just need certain updates. So it'll be like information-based medicine at that point, but that'll be on a synthetic tissue or synthetic gland or organ. But this is all what they got planned out. So, but they got to learn this stuff here first, right? They got to learn this stuff here first. And so in your mind, I know you're going to say, well, how do you protect yourself? Old school. You got to go old school. Cats is going digital. You stay analog. Yeah, you got to go old school. The problem is you may not know what old school is. Right? You may not know what old school is. Right? So we got to figure out what the old school is. And that's basically what the whole course is about. Comedic naturopathy. What is the old school? Is bioelectricity a new thing? Because according to Greco-Roman and German sources, back in ancient Egypt or Kemet, they was prescribing beer for every disease that you had. They was, if we listen to Reggie, which in Reggie is Greco-Roman sources. When you hear Reggie talking, that's the Greco-Roman sources. They had tweezers. They had beer. They had tweezers, beer, and feces. According to Reggie. Tweezers, beer, feces. That's what they was prescribing people. Right? So we forgot about Narmer. Right? Who's Narmer? Narmer's in this story. Right? Like, hold up, EnQi. How you just jump to Narmer? Narmer is where you get all these magical stories about the mermaids, mermen. Narmer. Come on. Let's get this party jumping with your hateration. How Mary said it? Because when I say something crazy, that'd be me opening the door up for the haters to come on in. Come on in. Come on in, haters. See, this is the part. When I say Narmer, is the origin of the mermaids and the merman stories and all that. That's what they come in. See, look, he right there, he making up stuff. I don't know how long they fall into the booby trap. They know it. They by now they should know it's a booby trap, but they gonna stumble into it anyway. They gonna stumble into it anyway, right? Let's go. Let's go over here. All right, so let's go. Oh wait, that's too much. Hold on. Okay, so we here. What page is this? Page 143. Understanding the forces of the universe as Neteru create a quantum entanglement between you and them. You think of God all the time. You know that literally everything you do. All this time beginning with Melanin vs. Diabetes, book 3, the financial edition. You had no idea the concept of cash is rooted in sugar, the watermelon, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Back to the perfect black wuxia. Keeping in mind the skin has the most nerve endings, and all you learned in the Clean Abs Fascia book. Electric fields boost each other. With each cell's connection in your skin, the electric field is boosted. Okay. So real quick, pause, right? In the workbooks, we talk about these guys, and I mentioned them last video. Gap junctions. Gap junctions. Gap junctions are how cells are electrically connected. And so this is how cells create a larger electric / magnetic field. Right? This is how they create a larger electric / magnetic field. And this is really like one of the main reasons why you have to have your vitamin D level together. Because your vitamin D levels is going to directly speak to this, right? And this is a part of your electric, your electric wiring. Like this is your electric wiring, so to speak, right? So anyway, the skin is the largest organ. The palm soles are input-output of this mega processor. To call the skin a battery is disrespectful. It's again the byproduct of godlessness and lack of reverence. In other words, ignorance. We have discussed this in many books now. Light is information and power. Electricity is information and power. Magnetism stores the information / power. Intelligence is really a collection of binary options and the speed at which you can access them. This is the knowledge you again have to ask yourself as the doubts accumulate. I know it's hard to watch me clowning sometimes. Just ask yourself, why haven't my comedic scholars taught me about Malapaterus electricus, aka the Nile catfish, right? Malapaterus. Yeah, I know for a fact I'm butchering this. It's all right. You wrestle with it and try to read it yourself. Don't laugh at me. You try to read this yourself, right? We just gonna roll with the AKA. the Nile catfish, right? This is important. The Kemetic scholars should have been taught us about the Nile catfish a long time ago, right? Because the Nile River, this way it get crazy. This way it get crazy. The Nile River is electric. Narmer, I'm telling you, this is where the magic stories about Egypt comes from, that water. So it's not just about the black soot coming over. It's the electricity in the water. The water. Electricity in the water. I need y'all to understand this. This is where it get to the GOAT level. This is where it get. So it's no bioelectricity starting with Volta and Galvani and this and that. Bioelectricity, this is another clear theft plagiarism where you got to know the roots. You got to know the roots. You got to know the Nile River was electrically active. So all of these conversations about water being self-inductive and water with the electron properties and all this and all that, it comes from what they was doing back in Kemet. All these conversations originate back there, right? Tell me what we don't cover today. You got it in the book, so you can keep going. They think they're doing their thing, though. They don't realize how many people know the truth. This may be why the ancestors elected me. Maybe my time is short. You do know that I am on borrowed time. My heart really stopped before. Okay, we passed that. Alexandra Volta stole the whole blueprint from the Jed pillar. Luigi Galvani stole the drip from the catfish. Bioelectricity was well known in Kemet. The writing is on the walls. 2750 BC on the tomb of the architect T in Saqqara, Egypt. Once again, remember, the architects, the masons, is also the doctors. The masons also the doctors. You see what they're doing? See my man apron and all that? You see what they're doing? The papyri calls them narfish. Narfish, possibly because Narma chose it as his spirit animal. The narfish now, it's debatable whether they were talking about all of the electric fish in the Nile when they said narfish, or whether they was talking about one specific type of electric fish, right? But the fact that they understood how to harness the bioelectricity, that's not debatable, right? So let's just hit the pause button. I know some of us, we in love with China, right? I love China too. But China did not invent the electric acupuncture and all that. Sorry, China, y'all got to relax. This is why I had to explain to y'all that the Yellow River culture was people from North Africa. Yeah, that was people from North Africa that expanded over. And that yellow river culture is where all of the fly stuff that we know of today as Chinese culture came from. The I Ching, the binary, you know, the hexagrams and all that, that's Kemetic. That's, yeah. So even the electric acupuncture and all that, I'm going to need y'all to hit the brakes. Everything is getting repoed. We repoing everything. Everything is getting repoed because people are behind on their respect payments. Listen, the respect payments is past overdue. So now we repoing everything. I'm the repo man. I'm the repo man. Yeah, I'm repoing everything. I'm letting you know the electric acupuncture and all that. It's a wrap. The electric catfish grows 120 centimeters. They discharge 100 to 450 volts of electricity. Yep. So not only did you hear about Narmer, come on, y'all heard about Narmer and Narmer's palette how many times? 1,02,675,345 trillion. Y'all heard about Narmer's palette a million times. Never once did anybody tell you that they should have been explaining to you bioelectricity when they talk about Narmer. That's what they should have been telling you about, bioelectricity. That's where the fish comes in the story with Wuxia. And they say, oh, the fish or the catfish swallowed the phallus. That part of the story just never factors in. Nobody gets that part of the story about Wuxia's phallus getting swallowed by a catfish, or what does that have to do with the story? Like, okay, Set chopped up the body, whoop, whoop, everything was missing. The catfish. Not until you factor in bioelectricity into the story. When you factor in bioelectricity, when you factor in that Horus comes from the soul of Wuxia, Heru comes from the soul of Wuxia, right? So we're talking about light. We're talking about the information. Yeah. That's why we talked about Ram. Remember, we talked about Kanum, Bain Jadet, last video, right? Ram, the Aya Heru numbers and all that. That's where that comes from. So not only did they have the catfish, they also had the elephant snoutfish, right? The elephant snoutfish was the divine fish of Oxyrhynchus. Oxyrhynchus, right? And so there are some stories that say that it was the elephant snoutfish that violated Wuxia and not the catfish. The bottom line is, this is what they're talking about when you go into the papyri and you see they have prescriptions which have been mistranslated. Right? There are prescriptions in the papyri that have been mistranslated to people needing fried fish, right? It's not that people needed fried fish for arthritis, for instance. right? That wasn't what they was doing. They wasn't frying fish like they went to 125th Street to go get some fried fish for their arthritis. This is how they make your ancestors look like idiots. Like, oh, people have joint pain and they're prescribing fried fish. No. What they're prescribing is electrotherapy. The same way we have TENS units today. Yeah, the same way we have TENS units today, the same way in America, they use TENS units, electrotherapy. In China, they got the electric acupuncture. In Kemet, where it started, they use the electric fish. They use the electric fish to attenuate the body electricity for pain, vitality, reproduction, etc. You can't use electricity for healing unless you first know what? That the body is electric. Right? And all of this stuff is easily, hold on, let me see. Let me see if we can grab something real quick. If you know what to look for, remember, that's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to with this information. Knowing what to look for. Okay, so look at my search. Electric fish in Kemet. And let's see what we get. What was the electric fish in ancient Egypt? Let's see what that says. Oh no, look at that. See, so you see, I'm not making this up. Dating back centuries, electricity has been used in ancient medical treatments. The historical journey begins dating back to ancient Egypt, where electric fish played a big part in bioelectricity and electrotherapy. The bioelectric fish, known as the Nile catfish, were used by ancient Egyptians for medical treatment. I told you they was about to walk into a booby trap, right? Let's see what else we get. Now, remember, this is just surface level. I just typed this in and we just going to go on down the road and see what we pull up here. Let's see what we got here. What is the sacred fish? Okay, now they got a whole nother fish right here. Interesting. What Wiki got? Look what Wiki got right here. The history of bioelectricity dates back to ancient Egypt, where the shocks delivered by electric catfish were used medicinally. The shocking medical history of electric fish. Look at this. Help create the first batteries. Interesting. Shocking medical history. Shocked by an electric eel. Now let's see if we, because you know we don't really get that much of a, we don't get that good of a search until we do this. Electric catfish and the first pharaoh. Interesting. Interesting. More than 5,000 years ago. So, no. So bioelectricity goes back to where? No more of this. As we go forward, we don't want to have any of this confusion about the origins of using electricity medicinally, right? We want the understanding of bioelectricity, electric water, electric therapy, electric acupuncture. I told y'all, I'm the repo man. We're repoing all of this sciences because the respect payments is overdue. Folks is deep in the red. You're too deep in the red to make up on the payments now. It's too late, right? So when we talk about this stuff in regard to healing the body now, right? Healing the body now and where we're going in the future. If you don't know where you've been, right? If you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. If you don't know your history, you got it? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, right? When you see it, you go, wait, hold up. So they were just going out on the Nile River and connecting to the fish in the water. Hold on. What? Hold up. So now you got to have a whole nother like Mandela effect moment. All this time you've been listening to the Osiris story, right? The body getting chopped up and the fish swallowing his reproductive organs. Hello. The fish and the reproductive organs. Bioelectricity, reproduction. Bioelectricity, reproduction. Keep telling y'all, the Bible is one big book where the number one subject in the Bible is reproduction. The number one subject in the Bible is reproduction. That's the number one science. How God made man. That's the most important thing down here. Even all technology is just to help us do whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing every day. Right? But that's the number one divine, holy, life. We forget that part. Right? So this now creates a whole new dynamic when you think back to the story and you go, wait a minute. So they're saying that bioelectricity is the root of human reproduction. So here we are listening to folks telling us they was prescribing beer and meanwhile, how my man said, I was already on fish and spaghetti. We already been lit. We've been lit. Listen, we've been lit, pun intended. We've been lit. We've been on electricity. Yeah. See, y'all been fed these stories, right? Benjamin Franklin, he discovered electricity with the kite. He went in and out with the lightning, and the lightning hit the kite, and then he discovered electricity. And then Thomas Edison made light bulbs. Oh, they didn't know nothing about electricity in Egypt. Huh? I'm sorry, wait, what? From the time of the first pharaohs? Man, from the time of the first dynasties? They was doing what? With what? For medicine? You gotta rethink the stories now. Gotta rethink the stories. See? This is why they be doing themselves a disservice when they put out the comedic, they be putting out the comedic documentaries, and they be putting all the old heads in there. They ain't putting Dr. EnQi in there. They now look, see, we're doing something. Look, but I'm gonna tell you to watch this. You don't know. We putting the brakes on all the comedic documentaries. You know why? Because they're gonna have pressure now. Because in order to put out any more comedic documentaries, they're gonna have to do one or two things. They're gonna have to obviously plagiarize Dr. EnQi or put Dr. EnQi in the documentary. Because there's nobody else that have a record. We got digital footprint. Ain't nobody else teaching this information. Ain't nobody else teaching that they was using bioelectricity to treat arthritis in Kemet. And folks had plenty of opportunity. Yeah. They had plenty of opportunity. How come they ain't teaching about bioelectricity in Kemet? I'll wait. You know why? Because they haven't read this. They haven't read this stuff. And it's just right there in the papyri. All you got to do is just read them. Well, you do have to know how the body work. You know how the body work, and then you read the papyri and you go, oh, wait, what is that right there? What the heck? What is this? Fried fish. Ain't no such a thing as the people that build pyramids prescribing fried fish for arthritis. Now, that's crazy right there. That's mad disrespectful. So then you start clicking, just searching anything, and then boop, a whole world of information pop up. And you go, wait a minute. The narfish. Wait, Narma. How I didn't see this before? Where this was hidden at? Where was this hidden at? The first pharaohs. Yeah, the first pharaohs. Right? Not Ptolemies. This ain't New Kingdom. This ain't Ptolemies. It's Old Kingdom. Old Kingdom. Right? So, anyway. We have electricity, right? Being the currency. And then we know we have light as the information because literally the cells run on ATP or GTP, right? ATP or GTP. And what's produced from an exothermic reaction is light. Right? Now, the rest of the story is where it gets blurry. Right? Because first things first, Dr. EnQi had to come in with the gangster energy just to put this in there. Just to lay this down like, hold up. Your body doesn't run on electricity. I need y'all to stop. I love Dr. Becker. I love Dr. Sebi. Your body doesn't run on electricity. We're going to stop you right there for a second. That's good to have an introductory understanding, but I got to pump your brakes. The electricity and all that, that's happening in the mitochondria. Electron transport chain, that's in mitochondria. But they also tell you in grade school that mitochondria was initially a separate organism, which is the reason why it has its own DNA, right? That had developed a symbiotic relationship with single cells early on, right? So technically, you have to remember mitochondria doing its own thing. But that's the reason there's a symbiotic relationship, because mitochondria need electrons and protons to do their thing, right? That's not how we work. We need this. We need light, right? We need the ATP, and it's the same type of relationship we have with plants. Plants need CO2. We get rid of CO2. So perfect relationship. Plants get rid of oxygen. We get rid of CO2. That's a symbiotic relationship. Mitochondria gets rid of ATP. What? Yeah. And what we doing? We breaking down sugar. Huh? Yeah, take this sugar. Take these electrons. We don't got no purpose for it. Yeah, take these electrons. We got more electrons and protons than we can shake a stick at. Here. What we need is ATP, though. You need electrons and protons. We need ATP, huh? Symbiotic relationship. So we take the ATP, the GTP, right? Adenosine triphosphate, guanine triphosphate, and we oxidize the phosphate off the end, releasing light into the cell, and that light is what we actually use in the cells. Now, here's where it gets crazy. This is where I get into my lifelong battle with these chakra perverts. Wait, hold on. Before I even go into the next, did y'all see DJ Academics? I told y'all, yo, the chakra battles continue. Make sure y'all hitting the Cash App. Listen, y'all got to hit the Cash App because I got to have these chakra battles. Did y'all hear the video out there? If y'all don't know who DJ Academics is, don't worry about it. But if y'all know who DJ Academics is caught on video grooming a 15-year-old boy to participate in same-sex behavior on video. This is on video. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. I'm not playing the video. Like most channels, they replaying the video. I'm not replaying the video. But it's everywhere. I'm telling you. This is just the sign of the times that we in. This is the sign of the time. You got to be on this side or that side. Yeah. I'm just saying. See, I'm coming with the science. But it's crazy right now. I'm telling you, it's crazy out there right now. See, this is the science, though, what we're supposed to have, right? Hold up, this is what we're supposed to be on. This is what we're supposed to be on. Hold on, let me show y'all. See, this is what we're supposed to be on right here. This is what we're supposed to be on. But again, we can't learn this information when we over there with the disinformation. We can't learn this information when we on the disinformation, right? That's what we're supposed to be learning. Right? See, this is that kinetic science right here. This is that kinetic science right here. Okay? This is that kinetic science right here. This is what we're supposed to be on right here. See, this is what we're supposed to be on. This, nobody can do that right there. Nobody does it better. They can come closer than close. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is what they're supposed to be doing right here. This is what you're supposed to be learning. This is that kinetic science right here. This is what it really is. Yeah, this is what it really is. So why do we need to know this? Because if the cells are generating light, right? If the cells are generating light, we need to know how that light, what is the information, how is that information being distributed through the body? How is that information being distributed through the body? Right? Because we have internal light production, and then we also have external light that we're dealing with. We have external light and internal light that we're creating. Right? Let alone what we're getting from our food if we're eating natural foods. And, that's a whole nother conversation, right? So this is where the pigments come in. This is where the pigments come in. This is where the pigments come in. That's what I'm saying. There's no room for you to be studying the real science and also chakras as well. Because see, I could do this. I could do this. I could do that. And then walk off. I could do that and walk off. Yeah. I could do that and walk off. I could do that and walk off. See, that's what I'm talking about. I could do that and walk off. Ain't nobody get ready to do nothing with no chakras. Yeah. See, we gotta put some respect on them. How do you do that? How that go? We put some respect on the kinetic scientists out here in these streets. We keeping this thing alive for the ancestors. The pineal gland has nothing to do with chakras. I see you over there. Listen, the pineal gland has nothing to do with chakras. The pineal gland was hijacked by con artists looking to substantiate the chakras. They was trying to find a way to make chakras seem like they was real. So they start grabbing glands. Oh, this one is that one. This one is this one. The third eye is the pineal gland, even though it's the second chakra, but it's the third eye. First of all, like I said 1,000 times, it's not an eye at all. And it's very important. So don't think that I'm discrediting the pineal gland. I'm just removing it from myth. I'm removing it from mythology and bringing it into biology. That's what I want to do with this. Remove it from mythology, bring it into biology. Right? Because the pineal gland has a very, very important role. In fact, you need to get that book. You need to get that book because we talk about the role of the pineal gland. It's very important in Melanin vs. Diabetes, book 1. Man, and all these books, and I still don't have that book. I don't know what I did. Right? But the pineal gland has a very important job with calcium. Right? So remember what piezoelectric is. Remember what piezoelectric is. Piezoelectric is the ability to convert pressure into electric. So let's wrap it up on pineal. Let's have some real convo on pineal gland. Right? This is what crystals do. So this is the reason why you not only have a body full of pigments to translate light into information, but you also have a body full of crystals to translate sound into information. And that's what piezoelectric crystals do. They convert mechanical waves. Remember, you got 2 types of waves in the universe. You got mechanical, and then you got electromagnetic. God identifies with both. Your pigment is down here. That's why you got a variation of different types of pigments. Pigments convert electromagnetic waves into information. Crystals convert mechanical waves into information. That is the primary job of your pineal gland, right? So it has a job in terms of melatonin production, but it also has a greater job because the pineal gland is actually, so another reason why we need to get into this, let there be music book. Listen, you could learn a lot about the body by reading up on how the body is formulated, right? So one of the most important things to understand about the ventricle system is everything that's attached to the ventricle system. And the third ventricle is the key. That's the most important part of the ventricle system. That's the biggest liquid vortex you have in your body. It's at the center of your brain. The pineal gland is formed from the roof of the third ventricle. So what you have is constant generation of pressure waves because you have a constant vortex in the third ventricle in the brain. The pineal gland is translating those mechanical waves into information. Let me see if I can pull up something for you real quick. Oh, I know exactly where I can grab that at because I already got that in a presentation. Come on now. Let's go, Doc. Let's go, Doc. Hold up. Do I have... did I download the program, though? I think I downloaded the keynote. Because last time I tried to open up something, I didn't have the keynote downloaded, so I couldn't open it up. Come on, we almost to prayer time. 6 o'clock. You gotta go pray. Bam. Okay, we lit. Okay, we lit. We lit, litty. Okay, hold on. Hold up, we're gonna find this real quick. We ain't going nowhere till we find this. Hold on, we ain't going nowhere till we find this. Hold up. We're gonna find this joint. Hold on. It's somewhere over here. Hold up. We getting to it. Bam. There we go. Cerebral spinal fluid physiology. Visualization of cerebral spinal fluid dynamics using magnetic resonance imaging, time-spatial inversion pulse method. Right here. Cerebral spinal fluid motion in the third and fourth ventricles is swirling vortex type flow, even when the head is stationary. The area around the third ventricle contains a dense arrangement of vital structures that are related to the circadian rhythm. It has recently become possible to directly observe the inner surface of the ventricles by opening a small hole in the brain and inserting an endoscope. Due to remarkable improvements in spatial resolution, the visualization capabilities are completely different from those in the past. It is now possible to insert an endoscope into the third ventricle by advancing it from the lateral ventricle through the foramen of Monroe after opening a small hole in the brain. We can see capillaries running from the pituitary gland in the anterior direction. Exposing red-colored blood vessels can be seen in the walls of the third ventricle. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Bottom line is the cerebral spinal flow is a vortex, right? Without getting to the, going too crazy, because we only got a few minutes left. So, y'all know I don't play. See, this is why I got to have the journals. Because if I say you got a vortex in the middle of your brain and go, oh, EnQi, you making that up, then I hit him with the, It's hit him in the head with the, They gotta relax, right? You gotta relax. So this is what crystals are for. Crystals are to convert mechanical waves into information. So the pineal gland, the pineal sites in the pineal gland, and all the calcium crystals, the calcites, that's what that's for. Literally turning those mechanical waves of pressure into electric and light based information that your pigment system can harness. What pigment system is that? You have heme. Your pineal gland has the most blood flow, second to the heart. Yeah, your pineal gland has its own blood flow, and that's the reason. Information cycling. Hit the Cash App, hit the subscribe, hit the like. Go to Amazon, get some books, join the Patreon, support the movement.
Myron!
Man!
Myron!
What?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody read those nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday too. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry. Biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I know I look at the pictures. I got